Get ready to see the biggest oddball in Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetype history. We're taking a look at the Sphinx archetype used by the first movie villain Anubis, and yeah, these two are actually divided into two monster types with two distinctly different playstyles. We have the Rock lineup and the Beast Warrior, Beast or Beast Warrior lineup, so yeah. First up, we'll start with the Rock lineup because we are taking a look at them by their levels at the end of the day. So yeah, uh, let's take a look at their first monster, that being Guardian Sphinx, which a lot of you should remember and recognize by now. Once per turn, you can change this card to face down defense position. When this card is flipped summoned, return all monsters your opponent controls to the hand. Back in the early days of Yu-Gi-Oh! This used to be a very genuine threat to basically any deck, because the mass bouncing upon being flip summoned is one of the most versatile play interrupters you can ever make. And not to mention that the monster has a pretty gargantuan 2400 defense body, which for a level 5 monster is a pretty high defense value, no question about it. So yeah. However, tributing for it was a bit of a finicky. Yeah, they don't have any non-tribute monsters. Just as a spoiler or warning. So yeah, it was a bit finicky to find available tributes for it. But once you tribute set a monster, the opponent's problems has just begun. Next up in this line of playstyle, we have Cryo Sphinx, another level 6, but this one with 500 less attack points for some reason. And this one has the effect: when a monster is returned from the field to the owner's hand, the owner of the returned monster selects and sends one card from their hand to the graveyard. As you can probably still see, this is meant to work in conjunction with the Guardian Sphinx. In a way that when a monster is returned, your opponent gets a sort of Apocryph or Towers effect from the hand. But then we have the problem of that the opponent gets to choose what card he sends, offering him a potential for graveyard setup. So yeah. This is actually one of those effects that's nice in theory, but it can be a bit better executed. So yeah. Next up, we have the next monster in this lineup is Hirako Sphinx, another level 6. This one is with reverse stats of Cryo Sphinx, and it has the effect that your opponent cannot select face down defense position monsters as an attack target. This is again a very good effect in concept, but awful in execution, because you're preventing the opponent from attacking Guardian Sphinx, allowing him to trigger the effect of Guardian Sphinx. So yeah, but that also gets that also brings up the possibility that you can maybe prevent Guardian Sphinx from being attacked and maybe trigger the effects yourself. So yeah. Because when the opponent attacks it, you can trigger the effect even if you didn't want it to be triggered just yet. So yeah, it can be a bit helpful there. But yeah, it's an okay card overall, but it could have been a lot better. And our last monster from this lineup, we have Exod, Master of the Guard. It's a level 8 with 0 attack and 4000 defense. And this card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card cannot be special summoned except by tributing a Sphinx monster. Each time an Earth monster is flip summoned while this card remains face up on the field, inflict 1000 damage to your opponent. Yeah, as it should come to no surprise, most of these Sphinx cards, along with this card, debuted in one of the worst structure decks of all time. So yeah, I won't even bother going deeper into this. Although when our Earth monster is flipped on 1000 burn damage, oh yeah, it can. You can basically build a somewhat of a functional stall deck, but basically it's not worth it. It's called the worst structure deck of all time. Next up, we have the final card in general from this line of support. That is Ordeal of the Traveler. It's a continuous trap card that when an opponent's monster declares an attack, your opponent chooses one random card and calls the type of the card either monster, spell, or trap. And if they call it wrong, return the attacking monster to the hand. Okay, because this is a gamble card, no question about it. But it's one of those gamble cards that wasn't that bad back in the day, because hands used to be plentiful back in the day. The players didn't used to empty out their hand on their first turn like they do nowadays, so they were usually left with like 3 to 4 cards in their hand when they opened up. So yeah, when you activated this, if an opponent's monster declared an attack, you had 1/3 of you had the like a 33 chance of guessing right. So yeah. It is what it is. It's a gamble card. I can't talk about its practicality and usage more because it's luck dependent. That's just what it is. But if you pull the effect off, yeah, it returns to the hand. It works in conjunction well with the first line of the first monster lineup. So yeah. Returning to the hand, that's kind of what they do. So yeah, that's everything checks out in that. Alright, now going to the next lineup, the Beast lineup. First up, we have Cryo Sphinx, a level 10 with 3000 attack and 2500 defense, a light monster. And you can pay 500 life points to special summon this card when Pyramid of Light is on the field. And this card cannot attack during a turn it was normal summoned or special summoned. This card cannot be special summoned from the graveyard. If this card destroys a defense position monster as a result of a battle, inflict damage to your opponent's life points equal to half the attack of the destroyed monster. By all sense of logic, this last part would be if it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage, but it's a worse Flame Wingman limited to for defense position monsters. And yeah, actually this card has a pretty unique special summoning conditions. Well, this is a type of thing that that would usually have like you can special summon this if you control this on the field. But yeah, this one has the audacity to ask you for a payment of life points in order to summon this, much like the next monster, that being Sphinx Telea. Another level 10 with reverse stance of Cryo Sphinx, has the exact same special summoning condition, same restriction upon being normal or special summoned, and also cannot be special summoned from the graveyard. And if this card destroys a defense position monster as a result of a battle, inflict damage to your opponent's life equal to half of the defense of the destroyed monster this time. And yeah, basically effects on the same level of usefulness, which is not really, besides of being huge ass special summonable beaters. Well, and this Pyramid of Light has been mentioned twice already, so what does it do? Well, it's a continuous trap which only has a negative effect, and that is if it is removed from the field, if it is face up, you can destroy Cryo Sphinx and Sphinx Telea on your side of the field and banish them. What's the purpose of this? Well, it sets up the field for their final monster, Thenian the Great Sphinx. It's is a level 10 with 3500 attack and 3000 defense. And this card cannot be normal summoned or set, and this card cannot be special summoned except by paying 500 life points when both Cryo Sphinx and Sphinx Telea on your side of the field are destroyed at the same time. Then you can special summon this card from your hand or deck. When this card is special summoned by paying 500 life points, increase the attack of this card by 3000 until the end phase. Holy shit, this is actually an OTK enabler worth building an entire deck around. It's not gonna be nearly as good or consistent, but it's still worth for the fun factor, so yeah. As you can see, yeah, practically radically different play styles for both monster lineups, for both the Rock and the Beast lineup of monsters. So yeah, the grading is going to be a bit different. Uh, in terms of consistency, neither pretty much stick out in their own right because again, the ones are Earth Rock monsters and the others are Light Beast monsters. So yeah, and neither of them can. Well, Cryo Sphinx can actually be summoned with Giant Rat, and that is basically the only semblance of consistency this archetype has. And yeah, it's not good. So 1 out of 3 goes there. Power only exists in form of the Beast lineup, in form of the Andro Sphinx, Sphinxtelea, and Thinian the Great Sphinx, which all have pretty okay special summoning conditions. Yeah, especially Thinian and its power output, world building, and entire deck around. They have a potential to hit very, very hard, but it's not nearly met as much as you would want to. So yeah, I'm gonna give them a 2 out of 3 and be generous in terms of power output. Comeback ability usually is a bit higher. Well, they're pretty much up there with both lineups. So the comeback ability for Beast lineup relies on you popping your own Pyramid of Light and summoning Thinian. And as for the Rock stuff, you usually have to rely on generic stuff like Shallow Grave in order to use. So yeah, 1 out of 3. And comeback protection exists only in the form of the Rock Sphinx lineup. So yeah, it's not, again, it's not the most optimal protection. Exod is the only form of protection, well, almost, since it's a 4000 attack wall, and Hirako Sphinx is prevents face down defense position monsters from being attacked. So yeah, it's a bit too poor for my liking, so 1 out of 3 as well. And as for the versatility, I don't know. Again, the Beast ones are more splashable than the Rock ones because Beast is a bit more represented monster type than Rock. So yeah, you can maybe take in the entire Beast lineup of Sphinx into a deck along with Pyramid of Lights. So there's that, but all in all, it's not very worth it. So yeah, 1 out of 3 there. Yeah, this was certainly the weirdest archetype analysis I've ever had to record. So yeah, it's bound to be. It's actually not that long. It's 13 minutes long with how many cards were there? A total of 9 cards. So yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Facebook updates and updates. Comment, like, and subscribe. And as usual, I'll upload the next vid whenever I can. See you all. Have a good day and peace.